the success rate of auctions has gone up.
Oh, good.
Well, so when we started off, it was only about 70%. So about 70% of auctions like went through with success, like, you know, the person followed through and all that. Now we're at about 96, 97%. So it's,
I mean, people following through with paying on the auctions because they don't want to get banned and everything.
All right. So now it's only about 3% of auctions end up, you know, not being successful. So
okay, that's a high percent. And one thing real quick, Darien, right as you started talking, we actually went live because I thought we were live, but I didn't click the live button because I noticed it looked different up in the top left. I'm pretty new at this, and I think that this is going to be continually a struggle for me. So everything you just said, pretty much everybody caught it. But I want to give a shout out to you know, US ARC. I'm going to start with that again because I was saying that, but I was only talking to you, Darien. I thought there was other people. I wondered why. I was like, where are the comments? What's going on? But US ARC fights for our rights to, you know, keep the animals that we like to keep, reptiles and amphibians. Awesome organization. You know, Phil Goss, awesome asset. He's been doing it a long time. A lot of other amazing contributors like Vanessa helping US ARC, and then Daniel down in Florida. And then also the Reptile Super Show is coming up in 3 weeks. It's the Fairplex, the Pomona Fairplex. I'm calling it the Quadplex though because it's in 4 buildings. We have reptiles, 1 building, birds, then aquatics, and then the last plants. And so it's going to be a really cool event. And so then, Darien, we were just talking about, you know, the auctions. You said the follow through has been really good with them. And you've had how many successful auctions? 1,600?
1,600 was month 1. So
just in 1 month.
Yeah. So we had, well, I guess, I'll just give you guys some of the info. So month 1, we had 1,600 auctions, month 2, 2,800, month 3, 2,999, and month 4 was 3,122. So, we've had over 10,000, you know, successful auctions. And when we started off, I mean, it was only about 70% were, you know, success. Like the first month was pretty rough. I mean, people were just having people flake out and not pay and all that stuff. And now it's at about 96 to 97%. So that's gotten a lot better. And, you know, auctions have become a pretty good part of MorphMarket. It's gone pretty well. And I'm pretty excited about the future of that and the future of a lot of other things that we're working on. So we have some pretty cool new things. We have a couple things we recently launched as well that a lot of people probably don't even know about. So
can you share that?
So we have the new customers page, which is pretty awesome. Basically it takes anybody you've ever sold to, and now you've got, you know, what you sold to them, the price, how much they've bought from you, all that, which is pretty cool for breeders to have access to that information. You know, kind of like a customer management system where they can just quickly look up past customers or past animals they sold, and exactly who it was sold to. And then we're adding that stuff to the, we're adding some more things to breeder side and to the customer side, where we have a purchase page, a sold page. So you can actually go in and you'll be able to, you know, filter out like, you know, okay, what are all the animals that I've sold, and, you know, what's the genetics of them, what species, how much were they sold for, and you can edit all this. So it's kind of like you know, you're pretty much going to have like your own spreadsheet that is built into MorphMarket that automatically adds everything. And you can just click on the customer info or click on the animal info. It kind of builds it all into one place where it's easy to manage all of your customers, your sales, purchases, all that. So it'll even have your purchases. So if you're a buyer, you're buying animals, as long as the animal is marked as sold to you, it's going to show up in that list as well. And you can click on that and see how much you paid and everything else. So
that's cool.
Yeah, pretty nice feature. And then we just added animal transfer as well, which is part of that. So essentially when you buy an animal or you sell an animal, the animal is transferred to the other person's account as a copy. So you know, let's say you go and you mark it as sold to a specific user, that user will now get that animal in their account where they can easily manage it and have that history and be able to quickly, you know, get to it. So
that's cool. Yeah, I like that. And then they don't have to ask you about the hatch date or anything like that, as long as you have all that information. I don't always do hatch dates like precise ones on mine. I usually wait till people ask me, because sometimes even if you have the information, people still ask. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to put it in there unless somebody actually asks. More and more people have been asking though. So sometimes I put it in there. Sometimes I don't. And then you went with Square to tie into MorphMarket for people to do a direct pay. Now I haven't set that up yet because I have PayPal, unfortunately. So it'd be a little easier if I already had Square, but I don't have Square. How has that been going? And I'm sure it's pretty easy to set up. It just has to take me getting out of bed and starting a Square account and then tying it to it. Probably pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, it really takes like 5 minutes or less. It's and it's awesome. We have I've had a few breeders reach out and say that, you know, they've had, you know, 4, 5, 6 transactions already through it.
That's nice. I had somebody ask about it already, but I didn't have it yet.
Yep. Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, I think that as more people start to enable that, it's going to help things a lot with sales overall. And then we're also adding a few features to kind of manage these animals. So like you'll be able to manage your customers, you'll be able to manage your animals a little bit easier, transfer to people, you know, stuff like that. You're going to be able to kind of MorphMarket, you know, is pretty much going to allow like all of that to happen on one platform so that you can, you know, somebody checks out and then the animal automatically gets transferred to their account. And then they'll be able to track a few things on there and be able to, like, you know, let's say that you adjust your, you know, weight or length of an animal, you know, any of the basic stuff that's on the edit page. That stuff's going to actually basically now it logs a date. So it logs all that information for you where it's more of like an activity, which kind of allows you to, you know, keep track of all that so that, you know, over time, as you're updating weight and length and, you know, what you're feeding and stuff like that, it's actually going to have history there. So you'll be able to have like charts that show you, you know, hey, this animal was this size, you know, a year ago versus today. So kind of keeping people on the platform, you know, that's the big thing. It's a lot of people who are buying an animal and then, you know, now it's, you know, we want to keep them using MorphMarket rather than just leaving it and, you know, maybe buying another animal a year later, you know, like we want to keep them coming back. So I think that'll help with everybody's sales as well. So
keeps me, I'm not going anywhere. Like I don't really use, like, I don't even really use my email anymore. It was like MorphMarket or Instagram. It's messaged me through that. So sometimes, I mean, the only thing I'm really using my emails for is to email very few people. And then also sometimes to respond to MorphMarket messages that go to my email. So
yeah, you can just respond to them either in your email or directly on MorphMarket. I would recommend doing it directly on MorphMarket just because with email, there's always issues that take place. Like, you know, an email might not send, might not go through. So if you go on MorphMarket, it might not be in there.
I see.
The other thing is in MorphMarket Messenger, we actually just updated that. So there's some new features there. We're about to add a few more this month. And then the really cool thing is we've got some new actions in there. So like you'll be able to, you know, easily mark the animal as sold or transfer the animal right to the customer, you know, directly within MorphMarket messages. So there's some really cool additional features that we've been working on there.
And then I know you're sponsoring it, but Bob Vu's got an expo coming up in Atlanta, Georgia. How are you affiliated with that? And are you going to be at that expo?
I'm going to try to make it there.
All right.
Yeah, I'll most likely make it there. We're just sponsoring it. We've got a table, so we'll have somebody there, whether it's me or somebody else. But yeah, I think he sold out in like a day or something like that.
Pretty quick. Yeah, very quick.
He's gonna have to do a bigger one next year, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder. Yeah, I don't even know how big the venue is. Do you know how many tables it's going to be, or is he like not disclosed that yet?
I have no clue. I have no idea.
Is Bob Vu your favorite ball python breeder? He's one of my favorites. I like Bob Vu a lot. Very fun.
He's all right.
He's all right. Do you have out of all the people on MorphMarket now, because there how many actual people are on MorphMarket with, let's say, like a beginner and like all the way up to pro? Like how many users are there that have a monthly paid subscription on average?
So there's about 6,000, and then we've got another like 10,000, I think, that are on the free account, which
6,000.
A lot of them don't.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of them don't do anything though. Most of them just
Sure.
they just have it and then just never set it up. And then we've got another several 100,000 with actual MorphMarket accounts.
Okay.
And those are just, buyers and all that. So about 500,000 accounts.
That's a ton. Because I know there's people for a while were really concerned about all the bans, but you said there wasn't that many people banned in total.
Yeah, I mean we've probably banned like 400 or 500 like scammers and fake accounts and just crappy fraudulent stuff. I mean that's pretty common to find, especially with we did a lot of advertising over the past year, and we had a lot of people coming in, so there were a lot of new brand new accounts popping up, and a lot of them we had to just get rid of because they were sending 400 inquiry messages or something, and we have to ban them because some of these people, they're going in and they'll go create like 30 accounts with all different on different devices and whatever else, and then they'll go send a bunch of messages. We've gotten that pretty much taken care of now. I mean, we have like automated systems that if you send a certain amount of messages in a certain amount of time, your account gets blocked immediately. So we've been able
but
to
not that many bad breeders though that you're having to ban.
When it comes to breeders, I mean, really, there's not that many. It's like 30, 40, somewhere around
that's
there.
it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a very small number.
Yeah, 30 or 40 out of 6,000, or I guess probably a third of those, the 30 and 40 were free sellers as well. So technically, if you count free sellers, we have 16,000. So yeah, out of 16,000, 30 to 40 is not a bad number.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's
Yep.
pretty good. Oh, and somebody asked too, because I put out some questions, or I put up a thing on my stories, see if there's any questions. And Hog Knows Best asked about shed tests for rare genetics, but he's overseas, and I thought there was some, because I told him I'm not sure, but I think Fish and Wildlife, since it's animal parts, kind of designates that as like you're not just allowed to freely ship that. It needs to be some type of inspection. So when it comes to shed tests overseas, I think you're not able to do that, right?
I don't think so. I would have to ask RGI about that, see what they think. But let's see, Dave here, shipping issues. I got a snake with no insulation, never reported. Yeah, if you've got issues with with shipping or breeder or something like that, definitely report that. So, that's something that we would want to at least add to somebody's account and see if they have any other problems like that. So,
yeah, or give them an update and just say, hey, you shouldn't be shipping like that. That's David Abeling. He showed me the package that came in. It was like confetti in it, like that moss for like they put in a friggin' Easter basket for kids. I was like, really? They shipped like that? I was like pretty surprised. I mean, I'd expect that like maybe in like 1997 when I was barely alive. I was like 10 at the time. Like, I heard of things like that happening back then, but not currently. A shipping box, everybody knows that person's received animals in shipping boxes. He sent it to me. I know the person that shipped it. I don't know what they're doing. I think they were having like a manic episode that day, and they grabbed a box, and they probably put the Easter basket stuff in there, shipped you a snake, and then their grandkid that they're giving a gift got it in a fucking Reptile shipping box, the gift they were supposed to give them or whatever. So
yeah, we've had some crazy ones like that. It's like, I don't know, it's 2024, ship stuff correctly. It's really not that difficult. I mean, we've got plenty of resources.
I made a YouTube video on how to ship too. It's pretty good. It's very long. It's like 30 minutes. I talk about how.
Yeah, well, they're not going to take 30 minutes to research that. They're just going to throw it in a box and call it a day.
Yeah, You could skip through a lot of mine, but you can get the gist of it. It's pretty much just like I'm really pro gel packs because they help maintain the temperature, whether it's cold out or warm out, because you have more of a dense object in there and everything. So, but Darien, I know when you first started, when you got into this and everything, you were vetting certain people, and you found some people like Samson was like called out and everything like that. Have I been vetted? Did you look at me?
Yeah, your account's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not too many problems.
No criminal record you could find either.
No, I dug. I couldn't find anything.
There you go.
There should be like tickets. That was it.
Yeah, you should get some. You should get badges for that. Like platinum good guy badges. Justin would probably have the highest one because I don't even think that guy swears. I think like G. Willikers is like the biggest thing you'd ever say as far as like a friggin' swear word goes.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'd probably be goldish platinum because sometimes I swear. So anyway,
yeah, I've got a little problem with that too.
What with which one? With what?
Oh, the swearing.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh, all the time.
No, you're not. You joke all the time, man. Like I see your the memes all the time. All right, you're joking. You're messing with me. So that's one thing I was gonna. I had a bunch of stupid questions too, like what slurs can we use on MorphMarket? Like how much does it take to get banned? But it'd be weird. Like I don't think I've ever used a swear word once in any of my MorphMarket conversations. But if you were watching my account and it's like, hey, Jeff seems to be pretty good, and all of a sudden I just go nuts on a customer and I tell him to fuck off and everything like that, I wouldn't get banned, but I at least get a warning. How many times would I have to do that to get banned? Probably like 3 or 4.
Yeah, usually it would take a few, depending on what you did. Now, we've had to kick some people off for going a little extreme on some of that. They'll go and send messages, and then they'll go and text the person after they block them, and then they go and call them, and and it's like that becomes a little bit much at that point. So
yeah, because all it's taken is a bunch of times then, and then you're kind of undoing it because then you're kind of like the referee trying to mitigate it, and then they're going behind you and messaging them, and then there's
we really don't want to deal with it either. It's like I don't want to deal with that, but so it's like sometimes I'm like, you know what, I just don't even want to deal with this. You guys are, if they're being a little too crazy, too heated, it's like, hey, have you're gone for 30 days. Good luck. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
So that's not happening.
There's a certain point, it's just like you gotta be at least reasonable with things, and it's like, hey, everybody, one bad person on MorphMarket affects everybody else on there, so makes everybody look bad. But let's see, are people getting banned for chargebacks? Yes, if people do a chargeback, you definitely report them to us so we can get them removed, because that's against our rules to do a chargeback, unless they didn't receive the correct animal or something was wrong and the seller didn't take care of something. But yeah, if you get a chargeback on your account, send us all the information and we'll figure out if they're doing that with other people too. So
all right, I have a question for you too. This is one I wrote some of these down. What inspired you to buy MorphMarket? Because I would never even thought this thing was for sale.
I don't know. I liked the site, and there was really nothing else out there, and I had a lot of ideas on it, on how to improve it, and some of those are finally coming to fruition this year. In the next 6 months or so, there's some big ones coming, but I reached out and I said, hey, I want to buy your website if you would be willing to sell it. And then we talked for a good 6 months and finally figured something out. So,
and are you happy with the purchase?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot more work than I expected it to be, but I think long term it's going to be good. I think it's I don't know. My background originally is web design and development, UI, UX design, internet marketing, stuff like that. So this was something that I've kind of enjoyed doing, but yeah.
And you yeah, you have the background, you have the history for it. 'Cause that's what you were doing. Is it seems like you know how to do this a bit. Because if I bought MorphMarket, I don't think I'd be doing all this stuff. Now the fun stuff I'd probably be doing, where I'd be like threatening to ban certain people, especially if they're like crappy people that I know they did stuff in. That'd be pretty good. Because I was like, oh man, you could walk around a reptile show, and like nobody could even be like, nobody could say anything to you. So you want to get banned? You could be next. So I was slightly nervous for a while, because I'm like, man, Darien, because like, you see all this stuff like riling up for that first, like, there's a few month period. And my girlfriend would have to hear it. I'm like, Darien's probably watching my messages. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'd be like looking at other stuff. And I'd be like, oh, look what Mike Schultz just posted. What the fuck? And she'd just be looking at me like, what do you care?
Yeah, Mike's a piece of work. He's always posting shit.
Mike's funny. I like Mike.
He's funny. He's funny.
Yeah. No, it's good camaraderie. I like it.
Yep.
All right. Oh, and then the one thing is stores. You're opening up stores. Are you? How many stores do you plan on opening? And you have one now in Kansas. That's your original one.
Yeah, we're slowing down a little bit with it, but we opened. We've got 2 in Wichita, about to open a 3rd. We've got 1 in Oklahoma City that's doing pretty well, and then we're about to open 1 up in Kansas City.
Okay.
So we'll have basically like 5, all within 3 hours of us. So that works out pretty well.
You probably like that, so you can actually physically be there in person if you need to be, right? That's why.
Yeah, it makes it easier, where if we need to be there, or if we're short staffed or something, we can send somebody from another store over to a different one. So
that's smart.
Let's see. I'm looking at a couple of these. How are the auctions working out? Are you planning to expand that? We're not planning on doing anything big with auctions yet. We have a couple other things we're going to build into that, just to make them a little bit better. We're actually working on a new alert system and a new alerts page. So we're actually adding like to the mobile app and the mobile website, we're adding like a bottom footer that kind of like Facebook, how Facebook has like your, home and, notifications and all that stuff. Basically, we're adding a notifications tab that will show all of your notifications on the site, whether you get, messages, or you get outbid on an auction or anything like that. So it'll make things a lot more, it'll kind of like drive people to the app a little bit more frequently. And then we're adding like a little bubble thing on the app as well. So you'll actually be able to see, how many notifications you need to open on the MorphMarket app. That's never been a thing in the past. So we're working on that right now, which I think will probably drive a lot of people to the app. And, you'll be able to have it on your phone and see like, oh, I've got 2 notifications. And then you open it up and it opens the alerts tab, and you'll be able to see that, you were outbid in an auction, or, a seller that you follow just listed a new auction, so you can kind of get notified about certain things. So,
and Anthony asked about how do you update the morphs. I think it's because he was asking, a couple other people are asking about, because sometimes, it's hard to keep track of because there's so many different species, and then sometimes there's newer breeders within these species that mislabel the genetic or how they're a trait is inherited, and it gets labeled dominant when it actually isn't dominant. It might be polygenic, for example.
So we update this stuff pretty much every day. There's changes being made, or every other day. So we have a team that does that. The best thing to do if you've got something that needs to be changed is reach out to support@morphmarket.com, or join the MorphMarket community, which is like a little forum, discussion board thing. Basically, there's like different categories in there, so you can go right into Colubrids and search for a trait and make a comment on it. Or if you go to the trait on your like on the website, you look up the trait, you go to the actual trait page in the Morphpedia, you can click a little button at the bottom of that, and it'll allow you to submit like a modification or a change to it. Like you can just type out what you think should be changed and why with any kind of supporting information, and then we'll get back to you on it. So there's quite the process for it, but
it makes sense because it's like you're then you're gonna have people with opposing opinions. So it's one, it's gonna be really tough for it to change, especially on so many different broad species. Because then you gotta, that makes sense. You're gonna have to really wait for somebody or multiple people to keep pointing it out before it can actually be interpreted and then changed and all of that. So
yeah, there's a lot of opposing opinions, which makes it really tough to kind of manage. But I mean, we've kind of found, there's a lot of stuff that's been scientifically shown to like be the same trait, through genetic testing and all that. So there's been a few things there where once it's conclusive, we'll go in and add like a note. So like if you're selling, trait 1 on MorphMarket, it's going to have a little pop-up thing on the right below the photo that says like, this is genetically, shown to be the same as, this trait. So we're kind of making things a little bit, we're still allowing people to list them as other, other names, because we don't want to like remove names that have been used for years, even if they're shown to be the same as something else. But, we're kind of at least trying to, choose the one as like the main one. We're going with whatever was, the oldest, like whatever was first. And then everything else will just say, this has been, genetically proven to, be the same as this other trait. So, I think that's probably the best way to go about it. So we're not like removing things. There's a lot of breeders that are like, oh, why is this, this came out a year later than this one, but now they're proven to be the same. And it's like, I'm not going to make that call, like I'm not going to go on and be like, oh yeah, let's remove all this stuff and force them to choose this other, name. Cause I don't know. I don't really want to deal with it.
No, that makes sense. I agree with you. At your stores, do you sell hognose snakes?
A few here and there. Not too often. I mean, our stores in Wichita, like it's mostly people like, brand new pets and all that. So, I mean, anything over like $100, $150, just not a lot of people get them. So it's
really?
Yeah. So we have very few. It's like, one at a time or two at a time. Yeah, our stores are kind of like, I mean, Wichita just wasn't a huge reptile area. When we first opened it, I mean, we barely had anybody coming in. So,
but it's doing a lot better now. It's good gain some traction. People come from all over.
Yep.
Nice. If I'm ever in the area, I'll stop by, but I'm never really in Kansas. It's kind of like in the center of smack right dab in the center of the United States. Have you ever gone herping for hognose out there?
I have not. No.
Okay.
I don't really know. I mean, I don't know how many there are in Kansas, honestly.
Finding them can be tough. There can be areas where it's dense populations, but they're so small and they're very, they're semi-fossorial and then they hide in grass clumps. They're very cryptic too, so they're not easy to find.
Yeah,
not easy to find. And then I'm sure you're reading that one. Nathaniel put, can you add a map of where all the sellers are on the map again? Really like seeing who breeds in my area.
So that was a little bit. It was a lot of breeders didn't want to be listed on there. A lot of them never even knew that they were listed on there. So it was kind of a privacy thing where they're like, oh, I didn't know somebody had access to see where my house is, So I removed that. There were also a lot of bugs with it. It just didn't work very well. There were a lot of problems. So we added the new like local page where now instead of showing like an actual location, it shows you all listings, all animals, within X amount of miles of you. And you can change that. You can change the zip code, change the radius and still be able to see the breeders like, okay, this is how many are around here. We're going to add that to the actual store page eventually where you'll be able to at least like filter out. So you'll be like, okay, how many are within 50 miles of here, but nothing to do with like addresses or anything. Cause a little bit questionable. So
yeah, there'd be stalkers out there.
yeah, that's part of the reason I removed it, because there was a lot of that kind of stuff that, you know, I was like, nope, we don't need to put out.
You got there's a lot of stalkers.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy people. So
how many stalkers do you have, Darien?
Probably a few, but I wouldn't say stalker in like a good way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
not that there's a good stalker, but, you know, I'd much rather have somebody stalking me like they like me, not, you know, stalking me like, hey, I want to kick your ass. So
yeah, sure. Well, a lot of people, I think, anymore nowadays cyber stalk. They're like, you know, it's not like old-fashioned stalking. So it's like a lot more lazy. It's more like people are just going to get on their computer and just, you know, they're not even going to want to go out their door. Nobody has that kind of drive. Even the psychopaths seem to be losing this drive to go out and do stuff. But I got a few stalkers, not anything real crazy. I'm sure you got more than me. I got like 2 that I know of. One's kind of positive, but just mostly annoying. And then the other one's kind of the same thing, mostly just annoying.
Yep.
Oh, Julianne's here.
Cool. I'm reading a few of these. Will it notify messages, inquiries? Sorry, I'm kind of catching up on this. It's an old one. Yeah, so the new notification system for the app, it will have like I guess like most apps, they have like the little red bubble with the number of, you know, notifications that you've got. It will have all that. It'll include your messages, inquiries, you know, if you were outbid on an auction, you know, anything like that. So that'll be pretty nice. It would be nice to set your highest bid, but not make your bid the highest, kind of eBay style. That's something we are looking into. I think we're going to release that only to sellers, just because that is something that can be really like misused. So I don't want anybody without a paid account to be able to go in and put like a maximum bid of 1,000 and then just not follow through with it. I think that there's way too many people that are either trying to, you know, make like fake bids or, you know, stuff like that, that basically we try to catch them pretty quickly. I mean, 90% of the time we get what, you know, we get them like immediately. We have a system in place that essentially if a bid is like some astronomical number, it notifies us and lets us know like, hey, you know, look into this and check this out. But once we add like, you know, the highest bid on there or maximum bid, that kind of becomes like impossible to manage, because now there's, you know, hundreds of bids every day going on that, you know, we would have to like manually go through and see like, okay, is this person legit or not? You know, it kind of becomes difficult because it's not necessarily making the bid immediately. So that is something we're probably going to add to paid accounts though. Let's see.
Yeah, so we asked about push notification. I think you already covered that.
Yeah.
The one thing I was going to ask, I mean, it's something I could easily find out. I haven't done it yet though. But with the auctions, you get 4 per month, but you can buy more. Can you buy an indefinite amount? I mean, because I haven't even tried buying some. I've been interested in it. I was about to do it, but how much? What's the maximum somebody's allowed to post?
So as of right now, you get between 1 and 4 per month, depending on your account level. And then beyond that, you can buy as many as you want. Really not that, I mean, there's not that many people buying them though. They generally just, you know, use whatever's on their account. So we haven't put like a limit on that. We haven't had anybody, I guess, abuse that yet, where it's like, oh, we need to, you know, set like a limit. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, and auctions have been going pretty well. So, you know, as I said earlier, we started out, we did 1,600 the first month, and now May was a new record of 3,122 auctions. So it's consistently gone up by a couple hundred auctions every single month.
Interesting. So, yeah. Because I say I'm going to buy some. I might do some extras. But it's kind of hard, even doing 4, because, you know, I want to space them out. You don't want to do too many. Because if you do too many, you're just taking money away from yourself because it's too much volume. And that's one thing we talked about briefly, because this is really the first time we ever talked. I talked to you one time 5 minutes before, like you know, what, 4 or 5 days ago, kind of asking about the podcast. But the one thing we discussed was like, you know, sales are still good. The problem is you know, there's more people producing animals, more volume. So the animals aren't going to go for as much. You know, if I, you know, make 500 hognose or I make 1,000 hognose, well, price would probably come down because I made so many more. There's a much more availability. So it's not like you could keep duplicating them to the point where you have like $10 million of animals. You're not going to be able to sell $10 million. So, you know, that's why even the auctions, like, I might do a few extra ones. But, you know, then you have to take time, put them up there and everything. And you can't put up hundreds or whatever.
I think that's the big thing is, you know, auctions were kind of like a necessary evil, I guess. You know, like they worked out pretty well. I think the average right now is, I think, 65 or 70% of retail. So, you know, most people are getting about 65, 70% of what they had it listed for. And that started off really bad. Like the first month, it was like 55% or 52 or something. So it's gotten better as more people have used auctions. But, you know, it's kind of like just a thing that, you know, unfortunately kind of had to happen. I mean, when auctions started, there were 47 or 48,000 ball pythons in the US and Canada on MorphMarket. And now we're down to like 34,000. So the good thing is that over the last like year and a half, the number's always been like 42 to 48, 49,000 ball pythons. And MorphMarket now has fewer than in 2022. So it's a good thing that the numbers are going down significantly because, you know, that just means like less competition, less, you know, less supply, which, you know, should allow prices to, you know, start to slowly go back up, which I think will be good. You know, I mean, everybody probably wants that, but, you know, yeah, there's just been such an influx. Like, I mean, 48, 49,000 ball pythons just listed on MorphMarket. It was kind of crazy.
It is. Like the ball python people, they're terrifying because it's like, I would never want to compete against a ball python person. They're like, they find a way to list 1,500. Like, how the hell did you find a way to list 1,500 snakes? That's insane. They got to respond to all of them. You got to put all the information. You got to take all those photos. Granted, ball pythons don't move around that much. You know, so comparatively, they're easier to photograph than a hognose snake, but still.
Yeah.
You know, like 600, 800.
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, you got quite a bit, you know, just right behind you. It's definitely.
Yeah, some of these are empty though. That's why I was asking about your shop. I was like, where do you buy your hognose from? I was like, it's probably from Travis because he lives in Kansas. He's porting local, so I can't compete with local. But you know, if you need some hognose, I always got a few. So.
All right.
Yeah, but I kind of I slowly take, like, even right now, like, I'm breeding less females this year because I still have a lot of stock. And I'm breeding some stuff like more because I don't have that morph and there's a lot of demand behind it. But, you know, I have a lot of certain combos and it's like, if I still have a bunch of them, I'm not just going to breed a bunch more, just try to sell them cheaper or whatever. You know, we got to try to keep this stuff managed and cleaned and everything too. And I don't want to go overboard. We have too much stuff. But yeah, you can see, I clearly got quite a few hognose.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all it comes down to. It's like, you know, I think people 2020, 2021, you know, it was like such a big thing and everybody's sitting there at home in 2020, you know, for months and they're like, oh man, I should just start breeding reptiles in my closet, you know, and I mean, everybody just started buying up everything and breeding as much as they could. So, you know, demand went up like crazy in 2020 and everybody, you know, everybody's just like, hey, let's breed whatever we can, produce anything we can just to, you know, keep up with the demand. And obviously, you know, inflation and all that stuff and, you know, no more crazy demand like in 2020 and 2021 and the supply is still going about the same. So I think it's better this year. I mean, I feel like things have you know, things have started to get a little bit better, but it'll take time.
When sales were at their peak, were ball python numbers low at any point even then, or was this you said this is the lowest they've been in like
this is the lowest that it's been since 2021.
Since 2021. Okay. Yeah. All right. So 2021 is pretty low. Mainly, well, part of it was because there's more actually users now. So there actually should technically be more ball pythons now, but the auctions and everything else and just sales in general have actually kept them down. I mean, I see these ball python people, like, you know, I just hear it from some of them. They're like, man, these things like don't sell that well. And then meanwhile, I look at their stories and they're shipping out 10 more. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? He keeps saying he can't sell any. And I see him shipping like 10 to 12 boxes like a week. And then David says, Jeff, stop acting responsible with your breeding. I'm not acting, I'm trying. And then Jamie, she says she wants to have a wish list where her husband can see stuff. So that'd be cool, like a Toys R Us ad. Remember the Toys R Us ad that you used to get as a kid? And it'd be like you have your shit you would circle.
Oh, that's what we need to do. We need a MorphMarket magazine that we send out to everybody.
That would be cool. That'd be cool. Or a digital one. Everything like in hand though is just like, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants to do everything online. It's just too much. It's like go paperless with everything.
Yeah.
You know, for some things it makes sense, you know, but the Toys R Us ad kind of like aesthetic, but for reptiles, that would be really cool. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Make it colorful. Have Joffrey like the hog nose, you know, big long neck with like a shirt, big old nose. That could be the mascot.
Yeah, maybe we could do a you know, at some point we're going to be adding like a scheduling feature, so you can schedule animals to go live. Basically, you know, right now you go and you list an animal, it's immediately, you know, on the site, but we're going to basically we're going to add scheduling. So like if you want an auction to go up at a certain day, a certain time, you can have that happen. Well, I think that would be kind of a cool way to do, you know, like a pre-sale sort of thing where essentially like, hey, you know, you list your animals on MorphMarket, but they're not live yet. They're in like a specific VIP section or something. And at the expos, we can give out like VIP, you know, like a list, you know, that shows like breeders and what animals are going to be available next month or something like that. So might be kind of cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
That's something we're going to do eventually anyway online is, you know, you'll have like, you know, early access sort of things, stuff like that, where it's like, hey, you have a premium account, like you're a seller, you know, you'll get early access to like stuff that's being scheduled to be posted. So be like a VIP section.
Yeah.
It looks like Heartland Reptiles. Will you be able to have push notifications from the app to let you know you got an inquiry? That's actually already a thing. So if you have the app and you're not getting the push notifications, you have it turned off, either on MorphMarket in the settings or on your phone in the settings. If you go to like the app settings and go to MorphMarket app, you can turn on push notifications there. So you should be getting those immediately, you know, right on your phone. It'll tell you this user sent you this message. You just click it and it opens it up.
All right. Kat says MorphMarket should host community photography comps. I don't know what that means exactly.
Like photography competitions or something.
Oh, yeah, it could be. I wouldn't partake in that because I take all my pictures on an S23 now. So
yeah, I think you know, photo quality is a big thing that needs to improve. There's way too many. I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous when you open up a picture on MorphMarket, you know, or listings on MorphMarket, and one of the pictures is like, you know, over a bathtub or a toilet or something. It's like, you know, that's.
Well, that's one where you probably don't want the quality of the photo to be better because then it'd be even more clear and you can see even more stuff in your bathroom. That's more of a poor aesthetic choice for a background. Yeah. Because the thing is, like, what would you rate my photos? You seen my photos? I think my photos are probably like a 7 out of 10. You know, they're taken out of phone, but the background's pretty okay. I just do the closures.
Yeah, you can get good pictures with a phone. I think that's fine. I just yeah, there's definitely, you know, it's lighting's a big thing. So you get a lot of those just crappy photos or like blurry photos, and
I like those.
It's like,
makes it easier for me to sell my snakes. I like those. Keep them going. Keep them going. Yeah, this cat says not the toilet pics. I haven't seen that one yet. I did see the one where he posted where Bob Vu wasn't wearing a shirt and he's holding his ball python. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we've had a handful of people do that. I'm like, nope, instant ban. See you later.
Well, yeah, I know that's not true because I went and looked at like some of the highest priced ball pythons like weeks later, and I seen the one with Bob without the shirt. I was like, oh, he's still there. All right. Will you be at Pomona? Are you going to that super show? I don't think you. I seen you. You went to Tinley to 1 year. I don't know how often are you going to expos.
I usually go to one at least every other month or so.
Oh, okay. You go that frequently.
Every 2 months, every 3 months. I am going to shoot for that one though. I'm going to try to make that. Try to get to Bob's, and then probably Tinley again for sure.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Tinley's great. That's one of my favorite shows, and it's only a 5.5 hour drive, so very convenient. The Quadplex, the Pomona one's going to be insane because it's 4 different buildings. I don't even think anybody will be able to see everything if they wanted to. Yeah. I have this box of knee braces I was going to bring there to sell just because I figured this would be the best place to sell knee braces. People are going to need them. And so, yeah, I'm going to start posting pictures of blown out knees and stuff before the show because I'm like, people are going to be messed up after it's like 6 acres of shit to walk around. I'm like, oh my gosh. As if all these buildings are the same size too.
I mean, the Reptile Super Shows, I know that Pomona is usually a big one, but
it is.
I mean, so this is going to be the size of Pomona for just the reptiles, and then they're going to have another building just for fish and another one for plants.
The plants are supposed to be outdoors. They have these big outdoor areas, so I think they're going to put up tents, and it's going to be between. But it's going to be like the size of one of the buildings, but that's going to be outdoors. But they have indoor, outdoor for the koi ponds, and then the fish. And that building, I think, is a little smaller, but those buildings are all large. It's not small by any means. Yeah, Pomona is pretty big because when you get in there, like I'm fairly healthy, and I get in there, I was like, I don't even want to walk to the far side. I was like there and back a few times, sure, but if I had to do it all the time, I was like, I don't even want to walk. Everything's just like long. Yeah. And so it's going to be 3 buildings, somewhat comparative size, and then this outdoor area. I won't even be able to see all of it because I'm going to be busy selling snakes and stuff and talking to people. I would like to walk around though. I want to see the succulents. I really want to see the ponds. The birds, I'll probably just browse real quick. If any bird screams in my ear, I'm out. Gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the birds, so they're not bad, but just
they're cute. They're just not for me. My friend had me
messy and smelly and noisy.
They are that. And I got bit in the throat by my friends twice. I took care of the damn thing. I thought it was gonna like me. They got there to take it back. They let out. First thing it did, I was excited to see them. Then it went right for me and bit me in the throat. I was like, man, I talked to this thing all day. I gave it food and clean water every day. And so I was like, screw that bird.
Is it like separate expos? Like you pay admission for each one? Do you know? Or
I bet
is it all one big thing?
I bet he's doing probably a multi-pass. Like you pay for, you know what I mean? It's probably like $20 or $25. You get to see them all or whatever it is. And then less price if you just want to see one different one. So that's an interesting question. Rami puts on good shows. Rami's a lot of fun, and that's the whole point of doing these shows and stuff too. I mean, that's the reason I go out to him. It's like looking for a little change in pace and talk to people in real life. And then there's an event Friday. The Darien, you're invited. You can come. It's at Joe Kovac's brewery. And you might even know about it. Rare Genetics is kind of like hosting it. And okay. Yeah, and then I might even go out earlier now because then MJ's says he has Trap Fest. I don't even know what the heck that was. I remember mentioning it, but there's Trap Fest Thursday. So I might have to fly in Thursday, go there, and then Friday got the RGI, the Rare Genetics party, before party, and then it was gonna be a lot. Then there's 4 buildings, 2 parties. They're trying to do everything.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. That's I have been to, I'd say the biggest expos I've been to, like the pet expos, Super Zoo and Global Pet Expo. I don't know if you've ever been to one of those.
I have not.
They're more they're more for pet store type stuff. It's like, reptiles, dogs, cats, birds, fish, everything. They pretty much have all of it, like companies like Petco and PetSmart are there. And I mean, it's so big. Like if you compare October Tinley, these expos are probably 20 times that size.
20 times. What is there for
Yes.
sale?
They don't really have much for sale. It's pretty much just like a promotional thing. Like they get like 20,000, 15 or 20,000 people there, but they're all like pet store owners. So it's like you're advertising to people who own pet stores. It's
Okay.
kind of cool. It's kind of a cool thing.
Huh. No, I've never been to one of those. So basically, it's a good one to advertise if you want to like network with affiliates that have any type of like exotic or pet store of any such like that.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's a few like bug companies and like reptile suppliers and stuff like that that show up there, and they get new accounts for it. It's pretty much like you kind of have an audience of 15 to 20,000 pet stores around the country that are all there, including Petco, PetSmart, all that kind of stuff. But
you have to vend it then because you have what they want. You have roaches and all kinds of other stuff. And
yeah, we vended it. Yeah, we vended one. We probably need to do it again, but.
And you said it's like 10 to 20 times the size of Tinley.
Yeah.
How do your knees look afterwards, or your shins? Are they swollen?
Oh, I walked around the entire thing. I think it took me like 30 minutes I just did like a walk from one end to the other, and it was like 25, 30 minutes of just walking.
Just to go from one side to the other.
Oh yeah, it was like a mile and a half or something inside. It's like a full just mile indoors.
Where is this held at? Which state is it in?
Global Pet Expos in Orlando, and then Super Zoos in Vegas.
Okay.
So yeah,
Orlando's
I was actually in Vegas just with some friends and stuff, and I was at the Mandalay Bay Hotel, and they had this Super Zoo thing, and I was like, what the hell is this? And there was a pet store owner or something out there, and they just gave me their pass, and I just walked in.
Nice.
Check it out. But yeah.
All right, then we have Lee Cat and David Abilene confirmed. It says it's 20. It's only one price for all of them. So even if you just go to the Reptile, it's $20 wherever you can go anywhere. So they want people to. That's good actually, because then you're not limiting it. So then that way it's like you don't have to have people at security either. That makes more sense. And then you're getting a better bang for your buck, bringing in more people, and you got all kinds of cool stuff to look at.
Well, yeah, and all the people that are going to look at fish or look at plants are probably just going to go look at reptiles too, because they already
exactly.
Might as well get everything out of what you paid. So you're going to be vending that expo?
I will be vending there. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I almost didn't, and then a couple of people asked me if I was, and I was like, I don't know. And then I asked Rami if I still had a spot because he shared something of a video of 2 of my hognose locked in. He's like, James, your reptiles making more hognose for the June, Expo. This was months ago. And I was like, I thought I told him I wasn't doing that show. And then I never said anything. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to have to do it. And then when I heard more about it, and this is mega thing. I was like, I can't skip this show. Yeah. So, I'm definitely coming unless I'm dead. Only way I'm not coming is if I die. So, and I'm bringing I got my knee brace. I got to find out where those are at. I hope my mom didn't do anything with those because those are nice knee braces. They have inserts for gel packs. I accidentally got them shipped somebody sent them to me, and they've been in my back room because this place I bought it from was like a medical supply place. Yeah. And nobody ever came and picked this stuff up. Never was able to return it. And I've had these things for years, and they're very nice knee braces. So, and then I started making knee and leg jokes because it's going to be so big. And I was like, I got those knee braces. So I'm going to take them there and offload them.
Well, I hope you have the nice, soft, mats behind your booth. Do you at least have a couple of those?
I should get those. But
those things are awesome. Yeah, that saves your ass right there.
Yeah, those look. I know what you're talking about. You know what? I bought one time. It was a longer one. I almost bought because you could buy these rolls from like Websterant and these other places, and you can get them cut in custom rolls. Yeah, And so I got 2 to test out. And I got some pretty long ones, and I put them down. And everybody that helps me, my friends, start bitching about these things. Tim's like, what the fuck is this thing? I was like, I'm trying to help you guys. I thought it'd be nice to stand on. And then Tim would take the table and be like, look at this thing trying to get over shit. I'm like, dude, it's, a stainless steel table. It doesn't have off-road terrain wheels. You're going over it real roughly. Yeah, it's going to jack up the wheels, dude. You can't do that. And everybody hated them so much. And then Leslie, even, a good friend of mine that helps, her back's always sometimes bothering her. She didn't like it. So I was like, fuck, nobody likes these things. But yeah, I need to get a smaller one behind the table. I don't think anybody can complain about it if I do that. I think everybody will like it. But I don't know, you'd be surprised. I couldn't believe everybody hated these things, you know?
Oh, people like to complain about everything, so.
That is true, me included. Sometimes complaining's fun, you know? Have some fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm sure
Yeah,
MorphMarket.
I'll let you know if I'm going. I might show up there. So.
Yeah, you got it. There's gonna be so many people there. You're gonna network, and everybody already knows who you are. But you could be like, "You want roaches?" And
well, we're vending it. I've got somebody else going there to vend it. I don't know if I'm gonna show up yet, but
all right,
yeah.
I got you. So yeah,
I might have to now that I know how big it's gonna be. So
yeah. Oh, it's so big. It looks like he actually made a map of it. You know when you go into the zoo or Disneyland and they have a map of the rides? And it's like kind of like a goofy little like you know what I mean? That kind of illustration. It's exactly like that. And it's like the bird exhibit, you know. Again, like the bird thing, I definitely want to. Hopefully, they have some other cool animals in there. I do like birds. I like ducks a lot. You know, if I was to have a bird, I would have a duck. I definitely wouldn't have one of these parrots that scream at you. All right. And so I thought there'd be more questions. I had some people because I was like, anybody have any questions? And then people were like, they're like, can you ask about this one transaction I did a year ago? It's like, I can't do that. These people know this stuff too. And they're, you know, just ridiculous stuff. I mean, some of them were pretty funny. So, all right. Any news on Samson, or can we not talk about that clown?
I'd rather not talk about that clown. But
yeah, I think it's kind of over with.
I guess. So how's JMG going? How are you guys doing with everything?
Good. Actually, I have my cousin coming back and helping me and stuff because it's kind of tough because I do have a lot of animals and I don't like just letting anybody, you know, come out and help me and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's coming back because we're a little short staffed. You want to call it that at the moment. But my girlfriend moved in with me 2 months ago and she helps. So we're just doing the breeding season. You know, Hognose sales are good. What about Hognose analytics? I mean, Hognose analytics for MorphMarket, I think it's pretty easy. You know, they sell good. There's more now than there was. Sales are still good. And, you know, that's about it.
Sales are going up on those. I mean, based on what I saw, the obviously ball pythons are the top seller. Crested geckos are number 2, and Hognose are a close third right now.
Oh, because I remember you put up
this.
I'd seen you put up this one time, and it was like the monthly thing. It was like ball pythons, like crested geckos, and I can't remember what it is, bearded dragons. And then you were like, "There's no Colubrids." I'm like, "How the hell did Hognose not make it up there?" So Hognose are finally making it up there.
Yeah, I think they're number 3 right after Cresties.
Oh, nice.
I have to verify. I'm pretty sure though.
That's good. Also a little scary because then, you know, it encourages more people to like, you know, breed a bunch of them. Because I was like, I'm like at my limit. I'm not going to keep producing more and more and more and more. You know, I have another room of babies just like this. And, you know, again, if they're not selling, you know, and that's another thing too, you can tell I don't have all these listed. Like I have like a fraction, you know, listed. Because, you know, I can only list so many and keep up with so many people at a given time and with everything else we got going on. But yeah, things are going well here, you know. Yep. All the racks behind me, everything's clean, keep it up. It takes a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
So
that looks good.
Oh, thanks.
How many total snakes do you have right now?
Right now, I never give out a number. Give out a number. I want be, you know, like you said, people complain about everything. People will be like, you know, and then people put like a standard, like, you know, oh, we produce this much or whatever. The one thing is, I will say this, I'm not just like trying to, you know, make excuses or what, but again, like if I have too much of one project or morph, I'm like, I can see, I'm like, all right, we need to taper off this. And then there's always this argument. And again, some of these arguments I think are, it's not really an argument. I'd say it's more of like, it's true in some cases, but the whole quality versus quantity. But in order for me to have good quality of certain projects, I actually need quantity because as I'm selectively line breeding, if it's too tight knit, you could do too much inbreeding. So when you're doing a lot of selectively line bred polygenic projects, you actually need a large stock.
Yeah.
If you want to diversify and have massive projects and also be locked down. Because like I tell people that are smaller, it's like you don't have to, if you're doing like a project where you're selectively line breeding, you don't necessarily have to have a ton of animals. You could always get one as you're going, as you're doing these projects, you can get ones to outcross into, but that doesn't involve you bringing in a new animal. I have so many hognose, I don't let new stuff into my collection. I have a quarantine area where if I get new hognose, they stay in that quarantine area indefinitely. Only their babies, their hatched babies, go to my place. So, my quarantine area is like kind of like the only place, like a disaster zone. And I always have like newspaper laid on the floor and stuff like that so we can throw it away. It's like very chaotic, and it's also very like we got to be careful with it. But in here, we can be a little more loose, but we still do glove changes between each rack, try to keep everything sterile. Hognose are kind of messy because they dig and they tip over the water bowls and stuff like that. But I don't even remember what the first part I was even talking about. I think it was just about quality versus quantity. Yeah. So, I can see both. So if you can manage it and you have enough people, but the other thing is too, hognose are really small, versus like say something like retics. There's a reason why like ball pythons, of course there's people that can easily have like 1,000 and things are kept up really well. I mean, how many does Quebec actually has a lot, and his place is like pretty much spotless. Everything's clean. It's even as like
I went to Bob Vu's place, and it was like, I mean, he's got a freaking 1,000 snakes, and it's perfect. I mean, it's like, looks better than my own house.
That's what when I said that, actually that's the first person that actually came to my mind, even though I didn't mention him, is because I seen him post recently, and you see his like in his reptile room there, he's got the racks that kind of wrap around, and it looks really nice. But there's also it's a species that's kind of easier to keep up on, and hognose are kind of like they're a little higher metabolism, but then there's certain species like I have beaded lizards, I have 20 of them. Oh my god, I could not they shit in their water bowl sometimes twice a day. It's impossible. It's bad. Like I just cleaned her water. That's the one thing is almost slightly late because I was cleaning her water bowls.
Are you saying that Samson Pruitt shouldn't have had 2,000 retics with 4 employees or whatever?
Yeah, I am saying that. I am saying that. Like if you had like beaded lizards, like say if you had like 1,000 beaded lizards, for one, nobody needs 1,000. You can't sell 1,000. It'd be like really, it'd be horrible. It'd take you like 10 years probably to sell them all. But they shit in their bowls like daily, so you couldn't keep up with it. I have 20, and I'm like maxed out. I'm like, these things are like, you know what I do now? I give them 2 water bowls because one's gonna get shit in right away. I might not be able to get to it for a whole day, and that's the thing. You gotta be checking them constantly. I was even thinking about once they get big, I was actually gonna make walk-in rooms with them. It's gonna be crazy because it's gonna be probably the only walk-in room with beaded lizards, venomous lizards. But they're like potatoes. You gotta like put your body in front of them to get bit. And I'm gonna get like pools with water filters in them. I'm gonna find some way where their big dumps can get filtered out or whatever, and they can have clean water indefinitely. Because cleaning these things every day is horrid. It's horrible.
Yeah, we've done that with our reptarium here. We've got some just massive setups with like 2 6-inch lizards in like a 800-gallon enclosure.
But you don't have to clean it.
Yeah, it's just easy. I mean, it's like
that's nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
And your reptarium, how long has that been open? That's been open for like a year, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And you're still growing that?
Almost a year.
And is there stuff for sale there, or is it more kind of like a reptarium, kind of like, where you walk in and you pay to look at the stuff and you like interact with the animals? Because I see a little bit about it, but actually I don't know anything about your reptarium. Because I remember you posting your pictures of like a little while ago of like developing it and stuff. But so now that's interesting.
Yeah, it's actually connected to one of our stores. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason we opened it is because I was like, oh, we've got a bunch of cool shit. Let's at least have something to show off. And
you swore. I knew you did. I knew you were joking with me. I knew you were messing with me when you said it like that. All right. And somebody asked, will there ever be a hot snake section? I don't think there's going to be that. Do you want to deal with those?
Like Hot or Not, like an app, like Tinder?
No.
No, we're not planning on doing anything venomous. So there's a hot snake section on Bob Vu's page, with his shirtless photos, I guess. But
those are good. Okay, he's got that. There you go. There you go, Anthony. You have it right there. Go to Bob Vu's place. Somebody goes, look at this one. What are your political beliefs? What the fuck do you want to start here? Come on.
All right. I mean,
oh, Darien might actually answer that. You don't have
I can say it's neither right or left, neither Democrat or Republican. I don't like any of it. So
I think you're right. I mean, the thing is, I think the left and the right, they love each other. They love each other so much because they have more attention and more money going to their campaigns than ever before. They have so much power because of all the, basically all the attention. The more attention you give them, that just is equal to money, because that's like a form of advertising, and that's how I'm turning more libertarian at this point. Not extreme, but like I'm tired of all these regulations. Like I can't do anything without filling out a fucking form anymore. It's horrible. I just want to like live and just do fun stuff. Work with my animals, enjoy my time. I don't want to be filling out forms every other day and doing shit. I already have to file taxes, the state taxes monthly because I didn't click one thing.
You don't even have to file taxes. The IRS could easily just do it all for you, but you've got all these dumb tax services that lobby to keep that out. So it's all just a big scam.
Kind of like insurance.
Yeah, well, you've got like I don't know, what is it, H&R Block and like TurboTax and all that, and you've got all those guys lobbying, but the IRS could easily just handle, like they know exactly what you made and what you have to pay. They've got all that stuff in place. So
yeah, the only thing I could see is maybe write-offs, because write-offs kind of makes things a little more complicated.
Yeah, I'm talking more about like
general public.
Yeah, it's like 90% of the population don't have all that. They just get it's like they have their W-2 and government already knows. So can you keep politics out of this?
That's the same person that asked you to talk about politics.
What are your political beliefs? And then
and what animals do you keep, Darien? Do you have a favorite species? What animals do you like? Like, what's a cool species that you?
Honestly, I'd say my favorite species would have to be Gila monsters.
Really?
I've always loved them. I've never had a beaded, but I've got a Gila. So
actually, you have a Gila.
We might have a beaded now. I think we do at the Reptarium. I'm not positive on that.
They're so cool. I love them.
Yeah.
Just the way they look, the way they move. They're very cool lizards. It's actually too bad that they're as venomous as they are, because if they really weren't that venomous, I think they'd be like the most popular species of pet.
Oh lizard. Yeah.
They're so cool.
Yeah, Gilas are my favorite. I love them. I just love they're just like slow, but then they can kind of be fast if they want to. But I don't know. They're really cool to me. So
yeah, their defensive snaps are very because they are slow, but if they want to turn, like my beat.
Oh yeah, they're quick.
They can like do a 180 real fast. The left to right, they're extremely quick. It's like a muscle snap where they can take their whole body and just go like that really fast. Like you can't even move out of the way. But then when it comes to walking or just doing stuff like that's like, because like I like holding my beadeds, and you can get a feel for their body language, but it's like not like a venomous snake. Can't lunge at you. It's not going to strike at you. You got to be like in that zone. But I didn't know you had a Gila. That's pretty cool. Heloderma all the way.
Yeah, I don't really actually at this point I don't really have any reptiles at home anymore, because I'm either traveling somewhere or busy doing something, and it's like but the cool thing is our pet store is like 2 minutes away from my house. So one of our stores. So we've got one of our stores is just right nearby. So it's like, we can just go there every day.
Yeah, there you go. And you got animals there. So if somebody asked if you even have a hognose, you have hognose at your stores, but I don't think you actually have a pet hognose yourself.
No, but I have before. I've had a ton of personal pets over the years, but mostly when I was a kid, and then had them for the next 20 years. And but yeah, I've had pretty much everything you can think of at this point. So
are you more a cat person or dog person, or both?
Definitely dog.
Dogs are fun.
Over cats. Yeah.
I love my dog. I got a cat. I never was a cat person, and there's this black cat that was outside that was all wet, and she is like a stray and everything. And then, long story short, she now lives with me, and they're very entertaining. They're pretty funny. But I've also been told that I have a really, really good cat, so I got lucky because people are like, "This is a really nice cat." Like,
that's the funny thing. I have had reptiles since I was 7, and I've never like been just like accidentally, bit, I guess. Like I've never had a reptile just like, bite. Like I've actually I've been bit by a cat before, but nothing with reptiles.
Bad cat bite?
No, just like a random. It wasn't even a cat that I owned. I was at somebody's house, and it just like bit me out of the blue, and I'm like, what the hell was that? And that was like, I mean, I don't even know, 9 or 10 years old or something when it happened. But I was sitting there and I'm like, I have all these reptiles, and people are so afraid of them, like they're gonna bite them, and they're like, oh, you've got a snake, you've got a ball python, you've got a corn snake, oh, it's dangerous, and it's like I've never even owned a cat, but I've been bit by one. I don't know.
Yeah, my cat's pretty nice. She's pretty good, but there's definitely I got lucky. What kind of music do you listen to? I don't know. So this makes me an idea of like what kind of person you are. Some people think about music, but like I don't know if music can really pinpoint who somebody is. Like I like music all the way from the 50s up till now. I just don't like country music or most rap.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of country music. That's the one thing that I don't like.
Oh, nice. Good.
Other than like a couple old school country songs, like 90s and stuff, or
okay. Or like Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash, I like some of his songs.
Yeah, Johnny Cash, yeah. But then no, I like everything else. I really like 90s rap, and I'm big Eminem. I love Eminem. Yeah.
You're like my friend Tim that works for me. He helps me like 1 to 2 days a week. He's in animal rehab for his main job, but he loves 90s. He says anything from the 90s he loves. Doesn't matter what it is. You could throw him the worst song if it's 90s. He goes, I like it.
I actually, I'd say my favorites are 80s and 90s.
80s are pretty good. There's some 90s stuff I like. Like, if he was here, he'd be able to tell you all of them. Like, I listen. Some of the stuff's pretty good, but I can't remember any of these artists' names or what the songs are. I know the ones like the one I can't. It's like Savage Garden was the one. He's just, but he has such. There's so many. I was like, oh, that one's good. There's actually some pretty good ones.
Yeah, there's some pretty good ones for sure. I think 80s is probably my most listened to. If I go on like my Spotify or something, it's probably 80s, and then it's like 90s or 90s, hip hop, rap, all that. So,
do you have a favorite band?
Not really. I don't know. I like everything. So,
okay.
Other than
I'm all over a little bit. Usually I can't find songs that like. If I find something like, oh, they have a good song. Usually I only like 1, 2, or 3 of their songs, and then the rest of their music, I'm like, I can't listen to this. So
I'll listen to like the same song for a month straight.
I'll do that too.
Or like the same 3 or 4 songs, and then the next month it's like, here's the next 2 or 3 songs I listen to again.
Yeah, somebody said you obviously never had a horny crested gecko. That's the only species I've heard. Well, Lucianus too, of ones actually coming at people and trying to bite them, is crested geckos. I've had actually 3 people in like the past year tell me they have like a male crested gecko that will actually try to attack them. But that's like about it. I don't really hear of any other species. I'm sure there's a few others, but Leachianus too. But you have to open up their enclosure and get in there pretty much to do that. So that's only those few. All right, Darian. I think this has been pretty good. I don't know if you want to wrap it up here. I know you said you only really wanted to do like 45 minutes or an hour, a little over an hour now. It's been pretty good getting to know you and everything. And I think this chat went pretty cool. Thank you for participating and giving us your time and giving us some insight on MorphMarket. Do you have any last words that you'd like to share with anybody, or?
No, just, keep an eye out. We've got a lot of really cool stuff coming out over the next 3 to 6 months. So going to be a lot of big features that we're adding.
I look forward to it. Always interested to see what's changing with MorphMarket. Again, main site and app that I use. Love it a lot. So thanks again, Darien. Thanks everybody too for asking questions or participating. And that concludes the show. And so I'm probably just going to turn it off, Darien, because like, I don't know. Cause like MJ does that thing where he turns it off and you can still talk a little bit. I don't know how to do that. So
you don't have, are you saying you don't have all the cool intros and all that MJ has on here?
I don't. It just goes right live. Like we used to do them.
You don't have the 2-minute countdown?
No, we don't need that. You know, there's like, oh yeah, actually a bit about that. It's not it, but so I don't have many YouTube videos. I got to post more. Yeah. But I have some pre-filmed, and there's one guy I know that does a lot of them for Hognose. He's like, dude, you need to do an intro with like 40 seconds of music. And I'm like, you don't need an intro that long. People are clicking on the shit because they want to know how to brumate a Hognose, dude. It's like, yeah. And he goes, people love it, dude. I was like, no, you used to be a DJ and you want to make a reason to do the music. I was like, because my intro, it's like, I like bass fishing music, kind of like, you know, like you ever watch like the intro of like outdoors for bass fishing like in the 90s? And yeah. I was like, it's kind of something like that. And my brother-in-law did it, and he goes, you don't like it? I'm like, it's all right. He goes, you want me to change it? And I'm like, nah. I was like, that's good enough. I was like, that sounds fine. I was like, nobody's not going to watch it because of like my music. You know what I mean? But I mean, the countdown, I mean, it basically gets you prepared. So you got your stuff going and you're doing your other things. This time,
I mean, nobody's got attention spans these days. You know, it's like everything reels or YouTube shorts. It's like 20 seconds and that's it. So.
That is very true. That's like my Instagram. I want to post more informative videos, but I find you really want to target 10 or 12 seconds. So you got to do very short information very quickly. You got to play some trending music behind it to keep people engaged. People don't want to stay engaged for more than 30 seconds.
You just got to do 10 1-minute long podcasts every day, you know?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, that's
just figure out some real clickbaity shit to say, you know, and just
you just have real quick podcast. Something with like the other thing is though, you need like some type of excitement. So that's why I'd have to be asking you like, who's getting banned right now, Barry? Who's your most hated reptile breeder? Give me 2 minutes, and then people are like, oh, I want to listen to this.
Yeah,
that's what people want to hear, unfortunately. So we got one person said it's a Trinity. She hates long intros. You know. Should do one intro where it just baits people, where it just seems like it's going to start, but just keeps rolling on longer. You got like 10 minutes in. It's like, holy.
And then it just ends. No video. No.
Yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned for it. It's actually next week, guys. It's actually next week. All right, Darien. Take it easy. Right. It's nice getting to know you.
Yep.
Good luck with MorphMarket. As it's been going well. Bye, everybody. Bye, Darien.